Guys, it sucks. I was sick for 2 whole freaking weeks. That's, like half a month of being miserable and snot-filled and nastiness. But anyway, I think it's, video time. Or at least, my attempt to. And since then I got a new headset, so I'm not sure how it'll sound, but hopefully I'll get adjusted and used to it. So anyway, the next MMO I decided to try and catch up with or whatever is Sevencore Online, a 3D fantasy and smashed up with sci-fi-ish MMORPG published by Gaaah. So I guess I'm going to try and show you guys as much as I can with the game. I've already played like maybe more than 2 days or so before. And this character's kind of old though. It was out. I made that character when the open beta just started around September last year. So anyway, enough of that. I guess I'll show you the character creation before jumping onto my main character, which is a little tiny kitty thing. Anyway, yeah! Character creation stuff. It might be awkwardly silent because one thing I'm pointing out about Sevencore right away is that BGM, other than that what you just heard in the title screen, is pretty much non-existent, which is kind of a shame. I'll try not to be awkwardly silent, but no 100% promises. So anyway, as you can see here, we have 4 races to choose from the character creation. Something called a scion, which is probably just general humans. And each race has benefits that come with choosing it. So for example, the scion has increases critical and increases the attack of mech mounts when ridden. I'll get to the mount thing a little bit. Her, I guess, how you can say it. Big, bulky, strong dude peoples. They have increased max health by 5% and increases the attack of beast mounts when ridden. A nuke is a very, very long-eared elf, I assume. They can increase their max mana by 5% and increase the max health of a beast mount when ridden. And these little people, beast peoples, unfortunately by like the little pictures to the right, you can't really change your person's ears or tail or anything like that. They're kind of just stuck like that. Unless I missed it somehow during character creation, but yeah. They can regenerate 5 of your max hit points every 10 seconds. Oh, okay, so that's why I recover health. I even forgot about that, it's my main character. And they increase the max energy of beast mounts when ridden. So that's good. I guess that's why it has just slightly over 100 for that one. Can I skip to the class? Yes, I can. Okay. I wasn't sure if I had to put a name in first. So you have the 4 probably also standard-like classes you'd expect. You have a warrior, a gunner, which is sometimes an archer with more fantasy-ish ones, but here you get guns, a mage, and assassin. So let's see. It might not seem like much, but actually there are 2 weapon archetypes, or 2 weapon choices you have, and it will pretty much alter the playstyle completely, so it's almost like one class is the base, and then you have 2 options to choose from there. You can choose between twin blades and a greatsword. From a gunner, you can choose from dual pistols to heavy artillery, which is what my main character will be showing you in a little bit. You have a mage for a staff, I guess longer staves, and then a wand, which is for faster attacks. Well, staff is for like the usual explodey, slow casting, damage everything spells probably, and the wand is a different one. It's like a tiny stick that says it specializes in damage over time attacks, and by now I really wish there was some BGM here. This is so awkwardly quiet, oh my god. Anyway, finally we have the assassin who can choose claws. It says it deals a flurry of low damage strikes, effortlessly weaving multiple attacks, and knives deal critical strikes to your opponent's weak points while eluding enemy attacks. Okay, not sure if maybe one has more critical than the other. But now let's look at appearance options. You have 5 faces to choose from, at least with this one. It's probably the same for all of them. You do have, sliders to pick from, but the ear length doesn't really work for the beast people, but it does work for the elves. I've tried it. It's kind of funny or interesting to play with, and you can do the sliders however you want pretty much. So at least it offers a little bit extra customization with that. Hairstyles, you have about 12. You have skin colors. You can preview equipment for later, which is kind of nice. I always like previewing equipments, but then I keep forgetting, oh wait, I won't get anything that cool until much later. At least the basic one looks like, I'll actually reach that. You can also choose hair colors, but the selection isn't terribly much. So anyway, I guess I could show you my carries now. I need to think that name for later. Big sworded person. So let me show you some other stuff while actually in the game. God, you can tell I'm so out of practice now, right? And loading screens and loading. So what we could hear from like the class description, since they each had a bonus skill from themselves and a mount. Mounts are a pretty big deal. Well, since this is taking a while to load, I might as well get this out of the way first. I intended to do this much sooner, like pretty much when it was new, last year, like around September I think it came out. But, actually Sevencore will be shutting down by the end of April next month. So, yeah, I just thought that's a good reason to try and show people the game, if possible, during its last few weeks. It'll be up. So the population has diminished quite a bit, but I have seen an occasional player here and there, and I actually did manage to group up with one, luckily, to defeat a harder boss needed for a quest. So, now that that's out of the way and you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, that's so pointless, why do it when it's dying? 'Cause I don't care. Especially since, why should I care when I don't even catch up when they're actually new anymore? I only did that with like 2 of them, I think. Then I was just like, I can't keep up with so many coming out at once, and I'm kind of running around in circles. Okay. So anyway, hotkeys, you can run around, you can strafe left and right with E and Q, you can use W, A, S, and D to move around and such. Mouse wheel for, dramatic, up-close shots. And you can click and hold the left mouse button to turn the camera, but then it's kind of awkward to control your character. So if you want to make sure the character is straight behind you, or the camera is, you use the right one, but then they also kind of move with it. So yeah, it depends if you want them to move or not. Okay, let's see. You can use the eye for inventory to see, stuffs that you'll be getting along your shooting journey, or at least in my case it'll be rootin' tootin' shooting, lasers and all that good stuff. So let me get to the mounts at least, since that's all important. You can right click to summon it, and there it says control right click to look at its little menu thing here. Soon after you start the game, or at least after you finish the tutorial island, you'll get your first mount soon after that, and you can have a choice between this thing called a bugger, which I have, a boar, or you can test your luck for the random box, which will give you a bugger, a boar, or you'll have a chance for this I forget what it's called, it starts with an I and it looks like an old goat with a dreadlock beard. Sorry, I don't know what the heck it's called. So yes, anyway, mounts are very important. There's quite a few of them, but you'll probably just have your main one for the bulk of it, because the only other way you could get mounts before was from, Cash Shop, of course. Or if they dropped from world bosses, which are very tough to defeat, and even though they did say that there will be events and increased experience and such during the last few weeks of its operation, just unless you maybe over level and such, you're probably not going to find enough people to support you for most of that. But the good news is that you can buff up your main mount to be stronger easily, because you get rewards very easily. You get rewards for every level delivered to your post box that you can access anywhere in the field to receive your gifts, and you can also get a gift for logging in, apparently, or at least that's the newest one they implemented. So you'll have lots of loots to test out and try to power up your mount, because it's probably going to be difficult to get another one. But say you did get other ones, there are mech mounts, because it was mentioned in one of the races. There is beast mounts, air mounts, which, you know, can fly, and they can go over any sort of terrain. There's even water mounts, which make it so you don't have to worry about running out of breath in the water. And yes, you can swim, and yes, you can run out of breath, but it usually takes a while before that happens. And as far as recovery goes, it kind of does this auto potion thing, which I'm not really too fond of. I mean, I admit it gets rid of slots in your hotbar for potions and such, but as long as it has that extra hotbar like on top or whatever, I don't really mind that. And I will say that it seems that the normal monsters are actually pretty tough on their own, unless it's because they made sure to make the squishy characters extra squishy, or at least, you know, squishy like you'd expect them to be. Since I'm a ranged character, I shouldn't be getting hit. But it's kind of hard to, you know, not get hit at some point, especially with the harder bosses that have a crap ton of hit points. And my strongest skills kind of need charging to do. But that is where I actually brag about my little bugger, because he's actually very helpful. It's just, you know, I gotta make sure I keep track of things, because he can actually knock down with this buggy vomit. Woo! Doesn't sound very impressive, but, you know, it helps. Somehow it just knocks it down or something. But yeah, anyway, you just have those auto potions there, and at level 10 and 20 you can get like little healy pills or healing tablets, so they can try to stay in the game. But of course, since they're mounts, you can right click with that little blue green arrow on it to mount them for increased movement speed, and there are even some mounts that their purpose is pretty much for movement. I'm not sure if I mentioned that, because I did mention there are water-based mounts, land-based mounts like my bugger, beast mounts, mech mounts, and air ones. There is also what is it? Some of them are based strictly on like movement, and this movement, attack, and defense, I think. Mine is more defense oriented, and its movement isn't so great and its attack isn't so great. But, you know, it's supposed to take hits or maybe get more hit points very well, or at least it heals itself, which it can do by hunkering down or something. So, you know, it'd probably be very awesome to have a movement-based one. Then you just speed across the land and everything. Alright, so let's see. Other features in this game, of course, include crafting. I can't really show much of it, but it's what you'd probably expect. But to do anything, you have to complete a line of quests, and to even start crafting anything, you'll be around the 20 levels, and you'll be in this town right here. What's the place? I didn't know. Can't see it because that's in the way. But I did something, and the first town you start with is Delos, and they just tell you how to gather things. The good news is you don't need tools to carry around with you to do all the gathering, but yeah, it's gonna take a while before you can actually craft anything. Also, the good news is if you want to do a gunner, you don't need not armor, freaking tard. You don't need ammo. Dirt. That's what I meant to say. Oh, I'm so hard practice I cannot talk. So yes, now that I've said the importance of mounts. Oh, speaking of that, you know how you can upgrade your weapons and armor and such in most games, or pretty much every game, and you can too, and also in this one. But you can also try and upgrade your mount along with you, and the save point is around 5, but then after that it will probably fail constantly unless you have certain things from the cash shop. But at least when you start to upgrade it, it'll start to be all shiny. So it's kind of like I gave it a whole bunch of shoe polish on my bug's shell. Okay, so I think before it used to have a PvP channel, but since it population kind of dwindled, I don't think that's around anymore. But just regarding PvP anyway, because I'm trying to be as informative as possible. Even though I'm extremely out of practice, you probably had your standard PvP matches or PvP instances. The kind of interesting part is that they had these, what are they called? Occupational battlefields? Something like that, but it's guild-based, and, it's kind of like you fight to control a certain town in the region around it, and if you win, you can control taxes and some other things like that. So, it's because, the low population, there's, not much of a point for that. But it probably would have been cool to see it in action. Although any kind of politic-ish system, I don't quite understand. Oh god, he's killing me. So yeah, I probably should have stuck with my warrior, because I'm very bad at keeping them at a distance. Oops. Okay, so PvP did sound kind of neat, but low population equals can't really do it. Sorry, I'm kind of trying to focus on not dying because the enemies really hurt me, so I'm kind of running out of things to say already, but at least I'm shooting things, and that kind of makes for sound effects in place of the non-existent BGM. Well, background music. I think that's what it means, right? Not just shooting noises, it's just sound. Alrighty. There are, of course, instance dungeons and such to participate in, but well, at least I assume that's what they have, because what kind of MMO lately doesn't have that kind of thing to group up and, try and kill them and such. I think I mentioned that you have a chance of getting extra mounts by defeating world bosses. It's not going to be easy. But yeah, in terms of storage and such, I think it's just, a little important to mention, even though it's trivial. Well, actually, that just made no sense. I just contradicted myself. Derp. Well, anyway, it doesn't seem that inventory expansions require, like, a cash up item. Instead, you just have to make sure you have the money, which will take a bit to save up. But because one of the buffs is increased item drop rates, extra experience gain, extra drop rate, and gold drop rate compared to normal, you'll be getting a lot of weapon and armor drops, and usually the weapon drops give you at least 7 silver, which will add up to a gold piece quickly, which you need to upgrade your inventory space. I mean, the first one is free, and you get 5 slots per upgrade, and you can also upgrade your warehouse storage, but that's only when you get to the second town. I gotta sell some crap, so I'm just wandering back here. You can also, once you reach this town, you'll be introduced to excuse me, a flying mechanic of sorts, or at least a travel mechanic, so you don't have to, even if your, mount is good enough, for most cases, if you want to travel all the way back to the first town for whatever reason, you can do so quickly with just paying to, like, organs, okay. Anyway, you can pay to, just hurry up and fly to the previous town, back and forth. That's a little bit better, but my attack is still better. I can buy it back if I want it. Selling stuff. Okay. Oh, and also, since you can see, you can also jump, which is usually a good thing. For some reason, jumping is so fun. And I mentioned with the water thing, I'm not sure if I ranted before in another video how ticked I sometimes get when the world really restrains you and you can't really explore much of anywhere. And you can't swim or anything. But this one has pretty decent freedom when it comes to that. You can pretty much squeeze between most little cracks and jump over fences. Oh, well actually yes, I could jump over it, yay! Wasn't sure because, the bug can't really jump too high, so that would make sense. Since I'm riding it, you can fight mounted, but I don't recommend it. At least not for a while. Because none of your skills are there, so you're only fighting with your bug skills, and you'll only really have 2, unless you get a special hammer thing that will increase the skill slots, so it can learn more skills. That's a cash up item, but you will get them because of the rewards they're giving out. daily or every time you level up and such. I think that's about everything, unfortunately. There's not really much else to say about it because you've probably seen a whole bunch of MMORPGs like this before. But if for any reason you would like to give it a shot before it's gone, why not? Same thing with Soul Captor. It might not seem like one of the most impressive MMOs like that I've been releasing as of late, but it's not going to harm you or do anything because now you gotta pay for it. So that's always good. But now I'm going to be distracted because I gotta fight. And so you guys stab me to death. Oh god, hurts. Whew. Okay, so I guess that's about it. I'm hoping to do the next video soon. Things have been pretty crazy, so no promises, but at least the faster I do it, the more room I can make on my laptops for other ones. So anyway guys, bye.